Welcome to a chapter a day. If your nervous system is loyal, impacts you in any way, support our mission and subscribe. Let's begin. Everything in your life changed the moment you decided that your emotions were problems. Not the moment you failed. Not the moment you were rejected. Not the moment you were criticized. But the moment you decided that feeling was weakness. Here is the truth. Your emotions are not the enemy. Your emotions are data. They are signals from your nervous system. They are messages from your subconscious mind. They are instructions from your body trying to protect you. You were never taught how to feel. You were taught how to suppress. You were taught how to react. You were never taught how to respond. And that is why you feel stuck. In this book, I am going to show you how I learned to feel my feelings without drowning in them. How I stopped reacting and started responding. How I rewired my nervous system. How I retrained my subconscious mind. How I reframed emotions that once controlled me into fuel that now empowers me. You will learn that anxiety is not your enemy. Anger is not your enemy. Sadness is not your enemy. Avoidance is the enemy. You will understand the connection between your conscious mind, the thinker, and your subconscious mind, the protector. You will see how your nervous system reacts before you even realize it, and you will learn how to interrupt that automatic loop. This is not about becoming emotionless. This is about becoming emotionally powerful. By the end of this journey, you will not fear your feelings. You will use them. And once you learn to feel fully, you become unstoppable. So listen intently. Chapter 1. Stop fighting your emotions. They are your guidance system. Emotions are not problems. They are signals. They are guidance. They are your nervous system communicating in real time. You are not broken. You are not dramatic. You are not too much. You are responding exactly as your body was designed to respond. The only misunderstanding is this. Somewhere along the way, you learn to fight the signal instead of read it. And what you resist persists. When you fight anxiety, it grows louder. When you suppress anger, it intensifies. When you deny sadness, it lingers. What you resist persists. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. The email arrives. The tone feels sharp. The body tightens. The jaw clenches. The shoulders lift. And before you know it, words are out of your mouth. Then the mind steps in and says, "Why did I do that?" Your body reacts first. Your mind explains later. This is not weakness. This is wiring. Your nervous system has two primary gears, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic is activation. Fight, flight, freeze. It is acceleration. It is protection. It is your system saying, something feels unsafe. The parasympathetic is regulation. Rest, digest, restore. It is calm. It is clarity. It is your system saying, you are safe. Both are necessary. Both are intelligent. Both are working for you. But here is the truth most people never understand. Your nervous system does not respond to facts. It responds to perception. It responds to stored memory. It responds to programming. And 95% is based off of your programming. 5% is your desire. If your subconscious says, "That's not what we believe to be true. That's not what you told me," it's going to pump the brakes. It will override your conscious intentions. It will tighten your chest before you can finish the thought. It will send heat through your arms before logic arrives. You decide to be calm. Your body decides to survive. Your body reacts first. Your mind explains later. Imagine this. You are at work. A coworker questions your decision in a meeting. The tone is neutral. The room is quiet. But suddenly, your heart rate increases. Your face feels warm. Your voice sharpens. You snap. Later, you realize you were already stressed. You skipped lunch. You slept 5 hours. You had an unresolved conversation at home. The meeting was not the cause. It was the spark. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to two underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. Maybe you felt exposed. Maybe you felt dismissed. Maybe you felt afraid of being seen as incompetent. But instead of pausing, the sympathetic nervous system surged. Fight mode activated. Protection first. Awareness second. What you resist persists. When you label yourself as short-tempered or too sensitive, you create identity around a nervous system reaction. But this is not personality. This is physiology. Your nervous system is scanning for safety every second of every day. When it perceives safety, you expand. When it perceives threat, you contract. And most of this happens below conscious awareness. This is the subconscious at work. The subconscious mind stores every experience with emotional intensity. Every time you were praised. Every time you were criticized. Every time you were told you're beautiful. And every time you were told money doesn't grow on trees or life is hard. If you were told from birth that you are beautiful, you move through the world expecting affirmation. You believe it. It feels normal. If you were raised hearing that life is hard and you must work for every dollar, your nervous system ties worth to output. Rest feels unsafe. Ease feels foreign. Programming. 95% is based off of your programming. 5% is your desire. You may consciously desire peace. But if your programming equates chaos with love, your nervous system will recreate chaos. This is not sabotage. This is loyalty. Your subconscious is loyal to what it believes keeps you safe. If you learn that expressing sadness leads to rejection, you suppress sadness. If you learn that anger gets attention, anger becomes the shortcut. If you learn that achievement earns love, you overwork. And when emotion rises, instead of listening, you fight it. What you resist persists. Here is the shift. Instead of asking, how do I get rid of this feeling? Ask, what is this feeling guiding me toward? Instead of saying, I need to calm down, ask, what do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? Notice the difference. I need to creates pressure. What do I get to creates power? Reframing language shifts the nervous system. You catch yourself saying, I need to fix this. Pause. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? You feel overwhelmed before a presentation. Instead of fighting the nerves, you say, my body is mobilizing energy. This is activation. This is support. The sympathetic surge becomes fuel instead of fear. You are not eliminating emotion. You are interpreting it accurately. When anxiety rises, it is energy preparing you. When sadness appears, it is a request to slow down. When anger surfaces, it is a boundary asking to be honored. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to two underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. So instead of lashing out, you ask, where am I hurt? What am I afraid of? This is conscious leadership. How does my most highest self, my strongest self, my bravest self, my most empowered self respond right now? That question interrupts programming. Because life is coming at you and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. Until now. Now you pause. Now you breathe. Now you feel. The parasympathetic system activates when you signal safety. Slow breathing. Relaxed shoulders. Softened jaw. Longer exhales than inhales. You are telling your body, I am safe. And when the body feels safe, the mind becomes clear. Your body reacts first. Your mind explains later. But you can train the body to react differently. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose myself every day. You practice noticing. You practice naming. You practice allowing. You say, I am calm. You say, I am grounded. You say, I am capable. I am steady. I am aware. I am powerful. Not as affirmation. As identity. Because when you stop fighting your emotions, you start understanding them. And when you understand them, you use them. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Your regulation is. This is emotional power. You no longer label yourself as anxious. You recognize activation. You no longer label yourself as angry. You recognize protection. You no longer label yourself as overwhelmed. You recognize expansion beyond previous capacity. What you resist persists. So you stop resisting. You feel the tightness. You breathe into it. You stay present. And the wave passes. Because emotions are waves. They rise. They peak. They fall. It is the resistance that turns waves into storms. Your nervous system is not broken. It is communicating. Your subconscious is not sabotaging. It is protecting. Your conscious mind is not powerless. It is the leader. And leadership begins with awareness. You are no longer at the mercy of unconscious reaction. You are observing the surge. You are choosing the response. You are transforming survival into strength. This is where emotional mastery begins. Not by eliminating emotion, by honoring it. You stop fighting your emotions. You start reading them. You start responding. And once you respond instead of react, you step out of programming and into power. You have stopped resisting. Now you are ready to pause. Chapter 2, Reacting versus Responding. The 90-second rule that changes everything. There is a moment between stimulus and action. That moment is power. Most people never notice it. You do. The difference between reacting and responding is not personality. It is awareness. It is training. It is nervous system regulation in real time. Here is the neurological truth. When an emotion is triggered, your brain releases chemicals that surge through your body. That chemical wave lasts roughly 90 seconds. 90 seconds. The first wave is biology. The second wave is choice. Your heart rate increases. Your muscles tighten. Your breathing becomes shallow. That is the first wave. What happens next determines your life. If you replay the story, justify the anger, rehearse the insult, predict catastrophe, you refuel the chemistry. You extend the surge. You turn 90 seconds into 90 minutes. You turn a moment into a mood. You turn a mood into an identity. The first wave is biology. The second wave is choice. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. Until now. Now you pause. Imagine this. You open your inbox. There is an email from a colleague. The message is short, direct, critical. Your stomach drops. Your jaw tightens. Your chest contracts. Your subconscious recognizes threat. Maybe it resembles past criticism. Maybe it echoes a teacher's tone from years ago. Maybe it triggers the belief that you must be perfect to be valued. 90 seconds. Reacting looks like this. You fire back a defensive reply. You over-explain. You justify. You copy others to protect yourself. You hit send. Your body remains tense. Responding looks different. You feel the surge. You notice the heat. You say nothing. You lean back. You inhale slowly through your nose. You exhale longer than you inhale. You let your shoulders drop. You unclench your teeth. You plant your feet on the floor. You let the 90 seconds pass. The first wave is biology. The second wave is choice. Your body reacts first. Your mind explains later. But your conscious awareness can interrupt the explanation before it becomes escalation. This is the 90-second rule. It is not suppression. It is not avoidance. It is regulation. 95% is based off of your programming. 5% is your desire. If your programming says criticism equals rejection, your nervous system accelerates instantly. If your subconscious says, that's not what we believe to be true, That's not what you told me. It's going to pump the brakes on your growth and amplify defense. But when you pause, you send a new message. We are safe. Safety shifts everything. The sympathetic nervous system cannot dominate when the parasympathetic is activated intentionally. You activate it through breath, through posture, through grounding. Let's make this practical. Interruption technique 1, breath regulation. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Longer exhales stimulate the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve signals safety. Safety reduces cortisol. Reduced cortisol restores clarity. You are not forcing calm. You are signaling safety. Interruption technique 2, grounding through sensation. Place your feet flat on the floor. Press your toes downward. Notice 5 objects in the room. Name them silently. This anchors you in the present. The nervous system cannot sustain threat response when attention is redirected to neutral sensory input. Interruption technique 3, posture shift. When you are triggered, your body contracts. You fold inward. You protect your core. Reverse it. Lift your chest. Relax your shoulders. Lengthen your spine. Posture communicates with emotion. Expansion signals confidence. Openness communicates safety. You are teaching your body that the email is not a predator. The first wave is biology. The second wave is choice. Now return to the email. After 90 seconds, your breathing steadies. The heat dissipates. The catastrophic story weakens. You read the message again. It is feedback, not attack. It is information, not indictment. You respond with clarity. You ask for clarification. You propose a solution. You remain neutral. You lead. That is power. Reacting is unconscious momentum. Responding is conscious direction. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. Until you decide that you do not have to ride every emotional wave to the shore. You are not your first impulse. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to 2 underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. So when anger rises in those 90 seconds, you ask, where am I hurt? What am I afraid of? That question slows reaction. That question creates space. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? Notice how that language returns power. I need to defend myself creates urgency. What do I choose to do? Creates leadership. You choose to breathe. You choose to observe. You choose to respond. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose myself every day. This is daily training. In traffic, in conversation, in disagreement, in silence. Someone interrupts you mid-sentence. Your body spikes. You feel dismissed. 90 seconds. Instead of speaking over them, you inhale. You soften your gaze. You wait. You respond intentionally. Your identity shifts. I am composed. I am deliberate. I am steady under pressure. I am in command of my responses. This is not suppression. Suppression pushes emotion down and stores it in the body. Regulation allows emotion to move through. You are allowing the wave to crest without attaching a story to it. The first wave is biology. The second wave is choice. Understand this deeply. You cannot control the initial surge. That is automatic. That is ancient wiring. That is survival. But you absolutely control whether you extend it. And when you stop extending it, your life changes. Relationships stabilize. Work improves. Self-respect strengthens. Because you trust yourself. You trust that no matter what arrives, an email, a comment, a mistake, a misunderstanding, you will not abandon yourself to reaction. You will pause. You will regulate. You will choose. How does my most highest self, my strongest self, my bravest self, my most empowered self respond right now? That question replaces impulse with intention. The nervous system learns through repetition. Every time you complete the 90-second cycle without escalation, you rewire. You teach your subconscious that not every trigger equals danger. And slowly, the surges become softer. The pauses become natural. The responses become automatic. Reacting is fast. Responding is powerful. You are no longer driven by old programming. You are no longer extending chemistry with catastrophic thinking. You are no longer surrendering leadership to impulse. You are aware of the wave. You ride it consciously. You let it pass. The first wave is biology. The second wave is choice. You have mastered the pause. Now it is time to examine why certain triggers exist at all. Chapter 3. The Lie of Avoidance. Why Numbing is Not Healing. Avoidance feels safe in the moment. It feels intelligent. It feels efficient. It is none of those things. Avoidance is delay disguised as relief. When discomfort rises, the mind searches for escape, not resolution. Escape. The nervous system detects unease and immediately looks for regulation. If you have not trained yourself to regulate internally, you will regulate externally. You reach for your phone. You open another tab. You eat when you are not hungry. You overwork to outrun the silence. Dopamine replaces presence. And for a brief moment, you feel better. But relief is not healing. Avoid now, amplify later. Every time you avoid an emotion, you strengthen the subconscious association that the emotion is dangerous. The brain records the escape as success. It wires the pattern deeper. The next time discomfort appears, the urge to numb intensifies. This is how fear pathways are reinforced. Your subconscious does not evaluate logic. It evaluates survival. If you consistently escape sadness, your brain concludes sadness is unsafe. If you consistently distract from anxiety, your system concludes anxiety must be catastrophic. 95% is based off of your programming. 5% is your desire. You may consciously desire peace. Yet your programming chooses distraction. Because distraction worked once. Avoid now, amplify later. Consider the phrase, I'll deal with it later. Later becomes tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes chronic tension. Unanswered emails sit in your inbox. Unspoken conversations linger in your chest. Unprocessed disappointment settles into your shoulders. You tell yourself you are fine. You tell yourself you are busy. Meanwhile, your nervous system remains activated. Low-grade anxiety becomes baseline. This is how chronic stress forms. Not from one catastrophic event. From consistent postponement. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. Instead, you are pushing feelings aside in order to function. Productivity becomes a shield. Achievement becomes anesthesia. Overworking is socially rewarded avoidance. Scrolling is normalized dissociation. Constant noise prevents reflection. Avoid now, amplify later. Avoiding does not remove emotion. It stores it. Unfelt sadness turns into irritability. Unacknowledged fear turns into control. Unexpressed hurt turns into resentment. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to two underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. When you refuse to feel hurt, anger becomes the substitute. When you refuse to admit fear, criticism becomes your defense. The emotion does not disappear. It changes costume. Your body reacts first. Your mind explains later. You snap at someone you love and then justify it with logic. The explanation sounds reasonable. The reaction was chemical residue from something unresolved. Avoid now, amplify later. The nervous system requires completion. Emotions are physiological cycles. They begin, they peak, they resolve. When you interrupt that cycle through distraction, the loop remains open. Open loops consume energy. You feel tired but restless. You feel busy but unproductive. You feel full but unsatisfied. This is emotional backlog. Your subconscious keeps the file open until it is processed. If your subconscious says, "That's not what we believe to be true. That's not what you told me," it's going to pump the brakes on your expansion and redirect you back to the unresolved feeling. This is not punishment. It is integration. Avoid now, amplify later. Let's examine a common pattern. You have a difficult conversation to initiate. You feel tension in your stomach. Instead of addressing it, you decide to wait until the right time. The right time never arrives because discomfort remains. Weeks pass. The relationship becomes strained. Small annoyances feel larger. You interpret neutral comments as criticism. Anxiety increases. You say, "I don't know why I feel so stressed." The reason is postponed truth. Truth delayed becomes pressure. Pressure unexpressed becomes anxiety. Anxiety unmanaged becomes identity. You are not an anxious person. You are a person carrying unprocessed emotion. There is a difference. Avoidance creates illusionary control. Facing emotion creates actual strength. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose myself every day. Choosing yourself means staying present when discomfort arises. Choosing yourself means feeling the tightness instead of muting it. Choosing yourself means sitting with unease without immediately solving it externally. This is courage in quiet form. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? When the urge to scroll appears, ask that question. What do I choose? You choose to sit for 60 seconds without input. You choose to breathe into the sensation. You choose to name the emotion accurately. Lonely, overwhelmed, uncertain. Naming reduces intensity. Awareness dissolves exaggeration. The parasympathetic system activates when you allow emotion instead of resisting it. Presence signals safety. Avoidance signals threat. Avoid now, amplify later. Consider food as distraction. You are not physically hungry. You are emotionally unsettled. Eating temporarily soothes because chewing and swallowing activate calming responses. The relief is short-lived. The emotion remains unaddressed. The body now carries both the original feeling and additional discomfort. Temporary sedation, long-term accumulation, or consider overworking. You fill every hour with tasks. Silence feels dangerous because it invites reflection. Reflection invites feeling. Feeling invites vulnerability. So you stay busy. Productivity without presence leads to emptiness. Your subconscious interprets avoidance as confirmation that emotion equals danger. That belief embeds deeper. 95% is based off of your programming. 5% is your desire. If you were raised in an environment where feelings were dismissed, you learned to self-dismiss. If you were told to be strong instead of allowed to cry, you equated emotion with weakness. Programming. You are now rewriting it. Avoidance weakens resilience. Exposure builds capacity. The first time you sit with discomfort, it feels intense. The second time, slightly less. The 10th time, manageable. The nervous system adapts when it experiences completion. Completion requires presence. How does my most highest self, my strongest self, my bravest self, my most empowered self respond right now? That version of you does not run. That version of you remains. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness, including your own. Growth exposes old avoidance patterns. Awareness highlights past suppression. This is progress. Discomfort during growth is evidence of expansion. Avoid now, amplify later. Feel now, integrate now. You are capable of feeling sadness without collapsing. You are capable of experiencing fear without retreating. You are capable of processing disappointment without numbing. I am resilient. I am grounded. I am emotionally available to myself. I am present. Avoidance once felt like protection. Now it feels like limitation. You understand that what you face dissolves. What you postpone persists. Every time you remain with a feeling instead of escaping it, you close a loop. Energy returns. Clarity returns. Calm becomes natural instead of forced. You no longer say, "I'll deal with it later." You say, "I will deal with it now." That is empowerment. Avoid now, amplify later. Presence now, freedom later. You have learned to pause. You have learned to regulate. Now you are dismantling the illusion that numbing equals healing. You are choosing integration over distraction. And once you stop running from discomfort, you discover something powerful. Your nervous system is not fragile. It is adaptable. You are not overwhelmed. You are becoming aware. You no longer escape your emotions. You face them. And when you face them, they lose control. Now that you understand the cost of avoidance, it is time to understand the intelligence behind your reactions. Chapter 4. Your nervous system is not broken, it is protecting you. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is defective. Nothing is damaged beyond repair. Your nervous system is functioning exactly as it was trained to function. If you have ever wondered, why did I react so strongly? The answer is not weakness. The answer is conditioning. The answer is adaptation. The answer is protection. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It does not evaluate context the way your conscious mind does. It scans for familiarity. It searches for patterns. It asks one question repeatedly. Have we felt this before, and did it hurt? If the answer is yes, it prepares you for survival. Trauma does not have to mean catastrophe. Trauma can be repeated criticism, emotional neglect, inconsistent affection, financial instability, being silenced, being dismissed, being praised only for achievement. Stress layered over time creates hypersensitivity. The system becomes efficient at detecting subtle cues. A tone shift, a facial expression, a delayed response. The body mobilizes before the mind understands why. Your body reacts first. Your mind explains later. What you call overreacting is often an outdated survival program running in a new environment. The email from your manager is not your childhood authority figure. The disagreement with your partner is not abandonment. The delayed text is not rejection. But the nervous system recognizes similarity, not accuracy. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It would rather over-prepare than under-protect. 95% is based off of your programming, 5% is your desire. You may consciously know you are safe. Yet your programming carries earlier experiences that taught you otherwise. If your subconscious says, "That's not what we believe to be true. That's not what you told me," it's going to pump the brakes on calm and accelerate defense. This is not sabotage. It is devotion to survival. Let's examine the 4 primary adaptive responses: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Fight is confrontation. It is intensity. It is control. In business, fight looks like dominating meetings, interrupting others, over-explaining, pushing aggressively for validation. The body feels heat. The voice sharpens. The pace accelerates. In relationships, fight appears as criticism, argument escalation, needing to win. Underneath it is protection. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to 2 underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. Hurt by feeling unseen. Scared of losing control. Flight is escape. It is avoidance. It is distance. At work, flight looks like procrastination when stakes feel high. Missing deadlines to avoid potential judgment. Switching projects before completion. In relationships, flight appears as emotional withdrawal. Changing the subject. Physically leaving during tension. Underneath it is fear of overwhelm. Freeze is immobility. It is shutdown. It is silence. In professional settings, freeze manifests as blanking out during presentations. Forgetting words. Numbing during confrontation. In personal dynamics, freeze feels like going quiet when conflict arises. The mind slows. The body feels heavy. Underneath it is perceived helplessness. Fawn is appeasement. It is people-pleasing. It is self-abandonment to maintain harmony. At work, fawn looks like overcommitting, saying yes to everything, avoiding boundaries to remain liked. In relationships, fawn feels like shrinking preferences, agreeing to avoid tension, prioritizing others' emotions above your own. Underneath it is fear of rejection. These responses were intelligent once. They kept you connected. They kept you safe. They minimized threat in environments where you had limited control. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It repeats what once worked. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. So these patterns run automatically. The body moves into defense before the mind engages. But here is the shift. These responses are not your identity. They are strategies. Strategies can be updated. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose myself every day. Choosing yourself means recognizing the pattern without shaming it. When you notice fight, you say, "My body is protecting me." When you notice flight, you say, "My system wants relief." When you notice freeze, you say, "My nervous system is conserving energy." When you notice fawn, you say, "I learned that harmony equals safety." Compassion interrupts escalation. Self-judgment intensifies it. Your nervous system cannot differentiate between external attack and internal criticism. If you shame yourself for reacting, you activate further threat response. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It responds to tone, including your own. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? You choose awareness. You choose regulation. You choose to update the program. Imagine you are presenting a proposal. A stakeholder challenges your data. You feel your pulse quicken. Fight urges you to argue aggressively. Flight urges you to withdraw. Freeze urges silence. Fawn urges agreement, even if inaccurate. Pause. Breathe slowly. Feel your feet grounded. Ask, how does my most highest self, my strongest self, my bravest self, my most empowered self respond right now? That version of you integrates the energy without being consumed by it. That version listens fully, clarifies calmly, speaks directly. This is nervous system retraining in real time. You are teaching your body that disagreement is not danger. Or consider a relationship scenario. Your partner seems distant. Old programming associates distance with abandonment. Your system activates. Fight demands reassurance through accusation. Flight contemplates emotional withdrawal. Freeze shuts down vulnerability. Fawn overextends to regain approval. Pause. Notice the sensation. Place your hand on your chest. Lengthen your exhale. You ask, what is actually happening right now? The story softens. Reality becomes clearer. Communication becomes possible. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It responds to stored memory more than present fact. And yet, it is trainable. Neuroplasticity allows new pathways to form. Each regulated response weakens outdated circuits. Each conscious pause strengthens resilience. You are not dismantling protection. You are refining it. Protection is valuable. Panic is optional. I am safe. I am capable. I am grounded in uncertainty. I am steady when challenged. Identity shifts physiology. When you view your reactions as betrayal, you remain divided. When you view them as protection, you become integrated. Avoidance once attempted to shield you. Reaction once defended you. Now awareness leads you. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. Sometimes that darkness is your own unresolved pattern. Activation during growth is natural. Expansion exposes old wiring. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It does not need condemnation. It needs leadership. You are the leader now. You notice activation without panic. You observe patterns without identity attachment. You update responses without self-rejection. You are not broken. You adapted. You are not unstable. You were conditioned. You are not too sensitive. You are perceptive. And now you are aware. Awareness transforms survival into strength. You have stopped fighting emotion. You have learned to pause. You have dismantled avoidance. You now understand that your reactions were protection. The next step is deeper embodiment. Chapter 5. Feelings live in the body, not just the mind. Emotions are not abstract ideas. They are physical experiences. They move through muscle, breath, posture, and pulse. You do not think an emotion. You feel it. Before a single thought forms, your body registers sensation. A tightening, a heat, a contraction, a heaviness. The story comes later. Your body reacts first. Your mind explains later. Most people try to solve emotions with logic. They analyze. They debate internally. They search for reasons. Yet the sensation remains because the body has not been acknowledged. Emotional mastery begins with somatic awareness. Anxiety often feels like pressure in the chest. Anger often feels like heat in the face or tension in the jaw. Sadness often feels like weight in the shoulders or a lump in the throat. These are not random. They are signals. Your nervous system communicates through sensation. When you ignore sensation, the volume increases. When you honor sensation, the intensity decreases. Name it. Locate it. Breathe into it. That is the practice. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. So the body carries what the mind refuses to process. Tight hips, stiff neck, shallow breathing, chronic fatigue. Unfelt emotion stores itself physically. Avoid now, amplify later. When you suppress anxiety, the chest tightens longer. When you swallow anger, the jaw aches. When you dismiss sadness, the body slumps under invisible weight. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It will continue signaling until the message is received. 95% is based off of your programming, 5% is your desire. If your programming taught you to ignore feelings, you learned to disconnect from your body. You became skilled at functioning while disconnected. You achieved while dissociated. You smiled while tense. Now you are reconnecting. This is not dramatic. It is disciplined awareness. Let's begin with the body scan. Sit upright. Place both feet on the ground. Allow your hands to rest comfortably. Close your eyes if that feels safe. Bring your attention to your forehead. Notice if it is tight or relaxed. Move to your eyes, your cheeks, your jaw. Is your jaw clenched? Is your tongue pressed against the roof of your mouth? Continue downward. Neck, shoulders, chest, stomach. Do not change anything yet. Simply observe. Observation creates space. Move further down. Hips, thighs, knees, calves, feet. Where is their tension? Where is their heaviness? Where is their warmth? Where is their numbness? Name it. Locate it. Breathe into it. If you notice tightness in your chest, label it gently, anxiety. If you sense heat in your arms, label it, anger. If your shoulders feel heavy, label it, sadness. Naming reduces threat perception. The brain relaxes when the unknown becomes known. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to two underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. So if your jaw is tight, ask quietly, am I hurt? Am I afraid? Let the body answer without forcing logic. Now breathe slowly into the area of sensation. Imagine expanding space around it. Lengthen your exhale. Soften your muscles intentionally. You are not pushing the feeling away. You are allowing it to move. The first wave is biology. The second wave is choice. The sensation may intensify briefly. That is normal. It is energy completing its cycle. Stay present. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose myself every day. Choosing yourself means choosing awareness over distraction. Choosing yourself means feeling the tightness without immediately reaching for your phone. Choosing yourself means remaining with discomfort long enough for it to transform. Your body holds memory. Posture reflects emotion. Notice how anxiety rounds your shoulders forward. Notice how confidence lifts your chest. Notice how defeat lowers your gaze. Posture is both symptom and solution. Shift your spine upright. Roll your shoulders back. Relax your jaw. Take a steady inhale. This physical adjustment sends a message upward to the brain. Safety. Your nervous system listens to movement. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? You choose to inhabit your body fully. When stress arises in conversation, you feel your stomach tighten. Instead of reacting verbally, you shift attention inward. You feel your feet grounded. You slow your breathing. You let the wave pass before speaking. That is embodiment. When disappointment appears, your shoulders drop. Instead of masking it, you acknowledge the heaviness. You allow tears if they come. You permit the body to release. That is integration. Emotions unexpressed create stagnation. Emotions acknowledged create flow. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It will continue sending physical cues until you respond consciously. I am present in my body. I am connected to my sensations. I am safe feeling what arises. I am steady within intensity. This is strength. Somatic awareness does not make you fragile. It makes you responsive. Many people live entirely in thought. They analyze endlessly while remaining disconnected from sensation. This creates internal conflict. The mind says, I'm fine. The body says, we are not. Alignment occurs when both are heard. Your body reacts first. Your mind explains later. Now your mind listens. Imagine receiving unexpected news. Your stomach drops instantly. Instead of spiraling into prediction, you pause. You place your hand over your abdomen. You breathe slowly. You acknowledge, this is shock. You allow the body to stabilize before forming a plan. Clarity follows regulation. Avoid now, amplify later. Feel now, release now. Each time you practice body scanning, you strengthen awareness pathways. Each time you breathe into tension, you complete emotional cycles more efficiently. Over time, sensations become less overwhelming because they are no longer suppressed. You stop fearing your own physiology. You understand that sensation is temporary. You recognize that discomfort is movement, not danger. How does my most highest self, my strongest self, my bravest self, my most empowered self respond right now? That version of you inhabits the body fully. That version does not abandon sensation. That version integrates mind and muscle, thought and breath. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. Embodiment can trigger others who are disconnected from their own feelings. Remain grounded. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is presence. Name it. Locate it. Breathe into it. This becomes automatic with repetition. A tight chest no longer alarms you. A clenched jaw no longer confuses you. Heavy shoulders no longer define you. They inform you. Information empowers. You are not a mind dragging a body through life. You are an integrated system. When the body is heard, the mind becomes clearer. When sensation is processed, thought becomes precise. You are no longer trying to think your way out of feeling. You are feeling your way into clarity. This is embodiment. You have learned to stop fighting emotion. You have mastered the pause. You have dismantled avoidance. You understand protection. Now you are fully inhabiting your physical experience. And once you can feel sensations clearly, you are ready to explore the deeper programming behind them. Chapter 6: The Subconscious Script Running Your Life. You believe you are choosing most of your behaviors consciously. You are not. Most of what you do, say, and feel is automated. 95% of your behavior is subconscious programming. 5% is conscious desire. That is not a flaw. It is efficiency. The brain conserves energy by repeating familiar patterns. It builds shortcuts. It predicts outcomes. It responds before you analyze. The subconscious mind stores emotional memory with precision. It records tone, facial expression, silence, praise, rejection, tension, celebration. It does not forget intensity. Your reaction is rarely about the present moment. It is about association. When you were a child, you learned what was safe. You learned what was rewarded. You learned what created connection. You learned what created distance. If expressing anger led to punishment, you suppressed anger. If achieving brought approval, you chased perfection. If vulnerability led to ridicule, you armored yourself. Those lessons became scripts. Scripts become identity. Identity becomes automatic behavior. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It continues to run scripts that once preserved belonging. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. So the script runs. It feels immediate. It feels justified. It feels true. But your reaction is rarely about the present moment. Imagine this scenario. Your manager reviews your project and points out an area for improvement. The comment is neutral, professional, direct. Your chest tightens. Heat rises in your face. Your stomach sinks. Shame floods your body. The intensity feels disproportionate. Why? Because the feedback did not land in adulthood alone. It collided with an earlier memory. Perhaps a teacher who embarrassed you publicly. Perhaps a caregiver who equated mistakes with failure. Perhaps a pattern where love felt conditional on performance. The present moment activated stored emotion. Your body reacts first. Your mind explains later. The explanation sounds logical. They don't respect me. I'm not good enough. I always mess up. But the magnitude of the reaction belongs to history. Your reaction is rarely about the present moment. 95% is based off of your programming. 5% is your desire. You consciously desire confidence. Your programming equates criticism with rejection. If your subconscious says, "That's not what we believe to be true. That's not what you told me," it's going to pump the brakes on your growth and activate defense. This is not weakness. This is conditioning. As a child, your nervous system encoded patterns rapidly. Repetition created belief. Belief shaped perception. If you were told repeatedly, "Money doesn't grow on trees," you may associate success with struggle. Ease may feel suspicious. Abundance may feel undeserved. If you were praised consistently for being the strong one, you may avoid vulnerability now. Support might feel uncomfortable. If you were called too sensitive, you may dismiss your own emotional needs today. Programming is subtle. It hides beneath personality. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It protects the identity that once ensured belonging. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to two underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. When someone challenges you, you might react with irritation. Underneath it could be fear of inadequacy. Underneath that could be childhood experiences of being compared to others. The present moment simply touched an old bruise. Your reaction is rarely about the present moment. This awareness changes everything. Instead of asking, "Why am I like this?" you ask, "When did I first feel this?" That question interrupts autopilot. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? You choose investigation over judgment. You choose curiosity over criticism. You choose to trace the feeling to its origin. Consider a relationship example. Your partner forgets to respond to a message for several hours. A wave of anxiety rises. You feel abandoned. You feel unimportant. Objectively, they are busy. Subjectively, your body experiences threat. Perhaps you grew up in an environment where attention was inconsistent. Maybe affection felt unpredictable. Maybe silence meant disapproval. The current delay triggers stored insecurity. Your reaction is rarely about the present moment. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose myself every day. Choosing yourself means recognizing the difference between past and present. Choosing yourself means acknowledging the old wound without projecting it onto the current situation. Pause. Breathe slowly. Ask internally, is this reaction proportional to what is happening right now? Often it is not. That does not invalidate the feeling. It contextualizes it. Your subconscious seeks coherence. It filters reality through belief. If you believe you are unworthy, neutral feedback sounds harsh. If you believe you are secure, direct feedback sounds helpful. Belief shapes interpretation. Interpretation shapes emotion. Emotion shapes behavior. Behavior reinforces belief. This is the loop. Breaking the loop begins with awareness. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It will continue replaying outdated scripts until you consciously rewrite them. I am worthy regardless of performance. I am safe even when corrected. I am valued without perfection. I am secure in connection. Identity statements influence subconscious alignment. When you notice a disproportionate response, do not shame it. Explore it. How does my most highest self, my strongest self, my bravest self, my most empowered self respond right now? That version of you separates past from present. That version validates the old wound while choosing a new action. You might say, I feel triggered right now, and I need a moment to process. That is maturity. You might journal about the memory that surfaced. That is integration. You might communicate clearly instead of defensively. That is leadership. Your reaction is rarely about the present moment. Understanding this dissolves blame. You stop labeling others as the cause of your emotional intensity. You recognize they activated a pattern that already existed. This creates responsibility without shame. Responsibility empowers. When you understand your script, you can update it. If criticism once meant humiliation, you redefine it as refinement. If silence once meant rejection, you redefine it as space. If disagreement once meant danger, you redefine it as diversity. The subconscious updates through repetition and emotional experience. Each time you experience a new outcome in a previously triggering situation, you weaken the old association. Neuroplasticity supports change. The brain reorganizes when exposed to new evidence consistently. Avoid now, amplify later. Feel now, rewire now. You are not imprisoned by childhood conditioning. You are informed by it. Awareness gives you leverage. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. Now you are teaching it logic through safety and repetition. You are not erasing the past. You are integrating it. You are not denying old wounds. You are healing them through present choice. Your reaction is rarely about the present moment. This understanding gives you compassion for yourself and others. Everyone is responding through layers of memory. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. Sometimes that darkness is their unresolved script. Their reaction belongs to their programming. You remain steady. You remain aware. You remain responsible for your own patterns. You have learned to feel your body. You have learned to pause the surge. You have uncovered the subconscious script. Now it is time to go deeper. If reactions are rooted in programming, how do you trace them to their source and transform them completely? Chapter 7. The Rooted Why Technique for Emotional Breakthrough. Surface emotions are branches. The origin is the root. If you trim the branch, it grows back. If you heal the root, the system transforms. Most people try to manage symptoms. They manage anger. They manage jealousy. They manage insecurity. They try to control behavior without investigating the source. Real change happens beneath the surface. Go to the root, not the branch. The rooted why technique is simple. It is direct. It is powerful. You ask why 5 times. Not to blame. Not to shame. To uncover. Your reaction is rarely about the present moment. The first answer is usually surface level. The second begins to reveal pattern. The third touches emotion. The fourth approaches memory. The fifth often exposes the original wound. Let's walk through an example. You feel jealousy when your partner speaks highly of someone else. The sensation rises quickly. Heat in the chest. Tightness in the throat. Restlessness in the stomach. Instead of reacting, you pause. You breathe. You ask the first question. Why am I feeling jealous? Because I feel threatened. Second question. Why do I feel threatened? Because I am afraid they will find someone better. Third question. Why does that possibility scare me? Because I fear being left. Fourth question. Why does being left feel so intense? Because when I was younger, stability was inconsistent. Attention was unpredictable. I learned that connection could disappear. Fifth question. Why did that instability shape me so deeply? Because as a child, I did not have control. I associated love with uncertainty. I internalized the belief that I must compete to remain valued. Now you are at the root. Jealousy was the branch. Fear of abandonment was the root. Go to the root, not the branch. When you stay at the branch, you argue. You accuse. You monitor. You control. When you address the root, you soothe the fear. You update the belief. You separate past instability from present reality. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It remembers unpredictability. It prepares for loss before it occurs. 95% is based off of your programming. 5% is your desire. You may consciously desire secure connection. Your programming anticipates withdrawal. If your subconscious says, "That's not what we believe to be true. That's not what you told me," it's going to pump the brakes on trust and activate vigilance. This is protection. Go to the root, not the branch. Let's examine another scenario. You feel intense anger during a meeting when your idea is overlooked. Instead of labeling yourself as reactive, you apply the technique. Why am I angry? Because I feel dismissed. Why does dismissal upset me so strongly? Because I want to be respected. Why is respect so important in this moment? Because when I was younger, my opinions were minimized. Why did that experience impact me so deeply? Because I interpreted it as my voice not mattering. Why does that belief still carry weight? Because I have not fully proven to myself that my voice has value regardless of external validation. Now you understand. Anger was the branch. Unacknowledged hurt was the root. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to 2 underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. Your reaction is rarely about the present moment. The present moment activated a stored memory. Go to the root, not the branch. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond, until you create intentional space for inquiry. The rooted why technique interrupts autopilot. It forces the conscious mind to explore instead of defend. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose myself every day. Choosing yourself means investigating your own patterns without resistance. This process requires honesty. It requires stillness. It requires courage. When jealousy arises, you do not shame it. You explore it. When insecurity surfaces, you do not suppress it. You question it. When defensiveness appears, you do not justify it immediately. You trace it. Go to the root, not the branch. Each why peels away a layer of protection. The first layer is story. The second is interpretation. The third is emotion. The fourth is memory. The fifth is belief. Belief is where transformation begins. Beliefs formed in childhood often feel like absolute truth. I am not enough. I must perform to be loved. Conflict means loss. Silence means rejection. These beliefs operate quietly. Your body reacts first. Your mind explains later. When you uncover the root belief, you gain leverage. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? You choose to update the belief. Instead of I will be abandoned, you practice. I am secure even if someone disagrees. Instead of my worth depends on approval, you reinforce. I am valuable independent of external praise. Instead of I must compete to remain loved, you embody. Connection is not a contest. I am secure. I am worthy. I am stable. I am enough. Identity shifts subconscious alignment. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. When you repeatedly pair new beliefs with calm emotional states, the system rewires. It begins to associate connection with safety instead of instability. It begins to associate feedback with growth instead of humiliation. This is not instant. It is consistent. Avoid now, amplify later. Investigate now, integrate now. The rooted why technique can be used in any situation. Fear before a presentation. Why am I afraid? Because I might fail. Why does failure scare me? Because I equate mistakes with humiliation. Why do I equate mistakes with humiliation? Because I was criticized harshly when I made errors as a child. Why did that experience stay with me? Because I internalized the belief that mistakes make me unworthy. Why does that belief still influence me? Because I have not consciously replaced it with evidence of growth through learning. Now you see clearly. The fear was not about the presentation. It was about an old interpretation. Your reaction is rarely about the present moment. Understanding this dissolves confusion. Go to the root, not the branch. How does my most highest self, my strongest self, my bravest self, my most empowered self respond right now? That version of you does not attack the branch. That version nourishes the root with awareness and truth. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. When you heal your root, others may feel confronted by their own unexamined patterns. Remain steady. This work is internal leadership. You are not eliminating emotion. You are understanding it. You are not suppressing reaction. You are decoding it. You are not fixing yourself. You are uncovering yourself. Go to the root, not the branch. Once you identify the origin belief, the emotional charge weakens. Awareness reduces intensity. Clarity replaces confusion. You become less reactive because you are less surprised by yourself. You trust your insight. You trust your growth. You trust your capacity to transform inherited patterns. Your nervous system begins to feel safer because it is understood. And once you understand the root, you are ready to practice regulation in real time under pressure. Chapter 8: Real-Time Emotional Regulation, Handling a Business Curveball. Life does not wait. Challenges appear without warning. Opportunities and obstacles arrive together. A sudden financial setback, a surprise critique, an urgent problem in a project. These are curveballs that test your presence. Your body reacts first. Your mind explains later. The first moment of news triggers a chemical surge. Adrenaline rises. Heart rate accelerates. Muscles tighten. Breath becomes shallow. The sympathetic nervous system takes control. Fight, flight, freeze. All options are on the table. You feel the rush. You may want to react. You may want to defend. You may want to retreat. Pause. Process. Proceed. Pause. Step 1 is awareness. Recognize that the spike in emotion is your nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. It is protecting you. It is scanning for threat. It is preparing for survival. This is not weakness. It is intelligence. Process. Step 2 is regulation. Label what you are feeling. Name the sensation in the body. Tight chest, anxiety, clenched jaw, frustration, stomach knots, fear. When you identify the emotion, the nervous system receives information instead of only reacting. Awareness creates space. Take a slow inhale. Lengthen your exhale. Ground your feet. Shift your posture from constriction to openness. These tactical tools send signals of safety. Proceed. Step 3 is conscious choice. You decide how to act, not from automatic reactivity, but from clarity. Cognitive reframing transforms the perceived threat into opportunity for growth. Instead of "I just lost money," say, "This is information. I can adapt. I can respond effectively." Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to two underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. Identify the root beneath the curveball. Imagine the scenario. An unexpected invoice appears, larger than anticipated. The initial surge is panic. The body screams threat. You might feel heat rising in your face. Hands may shake. Breath catches in your chest. This is normal. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. Pause. Notice the sensation without judging it. Label it. Anxiety, frustration, stress. Recognize that this is an old pattern of fear signaling danger. Process. Breathe into the tightness. Roll shoulders back. Release jaw tension. Expand chest. Ground yourself in the physical body. Awareness interrupts the autopilot. Cognitive reframing begins. Instead of seeing the invoice as catastrophe, see it as information. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? You may call the vendor. You may adjust the budget. You may reprioritize projects. You may ask for assistance. Action is deliberate, not reactionary. Proceed. Your nervous system calms as you act with clarity. Stress diminishes. Decisions are precise. You are no longer swept by automatic emotional waves. You lead your system instead of being led by it. The first wave is biology. The second wave is choice. The chemical surge lasts roughly 90 seconds if unrefueled by thought. After that, the intensity decreases naturally. By pausing and processing, you shorten the duration of reactivity and strengthen neural pathways for resilience. Avoid now, amplify later. Each time you practice this method, you teach your nervous system that threat does not always require fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Safety can be signaled by conscious, calm, intentional choice. This is real-time emotional regulation. It is not theoretical. It is practical. It is repeatable. Every curveball becomes a training ground. Every surprise tests your capacity to respond rather than react. Every setback is an opportunity to strengthen self-leadership. You do not suppress emotion. You do not deny stress. You do not ignore physiological cues. You honor them, name them, regulate them, and then act. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? This question centers you in reality rather than in reactivity. This question aligns conscious choice with subconscious recalibration. Anger, fear, frustration, they remain secondary. They are signals, not dictators. You are the decision maker. You are the integrator. You are the leader of your nervous system. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. Even in business setbacks, your composure models possibility for others. Pause. Process. Proceed. This phrase is your mantra. It is your anchor. It is your tool. Repeat it silently during every spike. Repeat it consciously during each challenge. Let it guide you from reactive chaos to deliberate action. You have learned to pause with awareness. You have learned to process with embodiment. You have learned to proceed with clarity. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It will continue to send alerts, but now you are capable of leading it instead of fleeing from it. You remain grounded, present, and intentional. Next, we will explore compassion in the process of healing and transformation. Chapter 9: Reframing, Turning Pain into Power. Life presents challenges. Pain is inevitable. Discomfort is part of existence. But suffering is optional. Suffering arises from interpretation. The meaning you assign to events determines the emotional weight you carry. This is the principle behind reframing. Meaning determines emotion. Reframing does not deny reality. It does not erase the facts. It simply shifts perspective. A sudden rejection is not the end of your story. It is redirection. It is an opportunity for growth. Your nervous system reacts first. Your mind explains later. The first wave is biology. The second wave is choice. When someone says no, the body may surge with anxiety or disappointment. The chest tightens. Breath shortens. Shoulders rise. If left unexamined, the emotion drives reaction. You might ruminate. You might overreact. You might retreat. Reframing interrupts this cycle. Step 1: pause. Step 2: label the feeling. Step 3: observe the story you are telling yourself. Ask, what meaning am I assigning to this event? Is this interpretation serving me or amplifying pain? Rejection is often interpreted as personal inadequacy. You feel diminished, unseen, or unwanted. The body mirrors that story through tension and stress. Now reframe. Rejection becomes information. It becomes redirection. It becomes insight about alignment rather than personal worth. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. Reframing allows you to pause and redefine the narrative before it drives behavior. The nervous system responds positively to coherent stories. When you consciously reinterpret the meaning, the body relaxes. The mind clears. Emotional energy becomes usable rather than explosive. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to two underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. Pain can be fuel rather than friction. When reframed, discomfort becomes data. Difficulty becomes practice. Setback becomes opportunity. Consider a business scenario. A project you invested hours in is rejected by leadership. The first reaction: frustration, resentment, tension in your jaw, shallow breathing. Pause. Label it: disappointment. Ask, what meaning am I assigning? Reframe: this is guidance. It points me toward what works, not what fails. Action becomes clarity. Emotion becomes ally. This principle applies to relationships as well. A friend cancels plans at the last minute. The body tightens. Shame and rejection rise. Pause. Name it. Observe the story. Reframe: their unavailability is not reflection of my value. It is redirection of energy toward alignment. Reframing transforms suffering into power. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose myself every day. Pain is neutral until meaning is applied. Power comes from conscious assignment of meaning. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? By repeatedly practicing this, neural pathways strengthen. The nervous system learns that events are not threats. They are signals. The mind learns that emotion is information, not identity. Avoid now, amplify later. Feel now, reframe now. Each perceived failure can become feedback. Each emotional spike can become insight. Each challenge can become a stepping stone. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. If previously rejection triggered survival responses, repetition of reframing retrains the body. Calm breath, clear posture, and intentional thought reduce intensity. Your subconscious updates. Old scripts of I am unsafe or I am not enough are replaced with truth. I am resilient. I am resourceful. I am aligned with what serves me. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. Reframing strengthens internal light. It redirects energy away from shadow toward creation. Life cannot remove pain. Life can always be reframed. Emotion can always be redirected. Conscious meaning-making converts friction into momentum. Your body holds the sensation. Your mind holds the story. You now hold the power to choose the story. Label it. Reframe it. Release it. Turn pain into power. Now that meaning has been harnessed, the next step is understanding the deep, hidden beliefs driving the story. Chapter 10. Compassion is strength, not weakness. Compassion is not softness. Compassion is not indulgence. Compassion is not denial of reality. Compassion is strength. It is a conscious choice to meet yourself with presence rather than punishment. It is the ability to hold your own humanity without judgment. It is a practice that transforms reactivity into resilience. You heal faster when you stop attacking yourself. Self-criticism is a trigger. It activates the threat response. The nervous system senses danger when your inner voice condemns. Muscles tighten. Breathing shortens. Stress hormones surge. This is not accidental. The brain interprets judgment as threat. It is survival signaling. Every time you berate yourself, your body reacts as if the danger is external. Self-compassion, by contrast, activates safety circuits. Breath slows. Heart rate stabilizes. Muscles relax. The nervous system receives a message. You are safe. This is regulation. This is embodiment. This is mastery. Consider a common scenario. You made a mistake at work. Self-criticism whispers, I'm so stupid. I always mess up. The nervous system escalates. Anxiety, shame, tension, fatigue. Pause. Breathe. Shift to compassion. Speak kindly to yourself. I am learning. I am human. I am growing. Notice the chest soften. Notice shoulders relax. Notice the mind slow. This is not weakness. This is power. Compassion interrupts cycles of self-attack. It prevents escalation. It teaches the nervous system a new pattern. Mistakes are safe. Failure is information. Emotion is guidance. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to two underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. Self-compassion allows you to sit with hurt without amplifying it. It allows you to notice fear without fleeing from it. It allows you to feel the intensity while remaining grounded. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. When the body perceives kindness internally, threat responses diminish. Calm becomes accessible. Insight becomes available. Decisions become clear. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. Compassion creates that pause. It creates that space. Notice the subtle shifts. Your jaw unclenches. Your brow softens. Breath deepens. Heart rate steadies. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose myself every day. Self-compassion is daily exercise. It is repeated acknowledgement. It is saying, I see you. I hear you. I am here for you. It is choosing safety over punishment. Consider relationships. You may react defensively when someone triggers you. Compassion allows you to check inward first. It prevents projection. It reduces reactivity. You speak to yourself as you would a child or a friend. You guide your nervous system through the storm instead of letting it run wild. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? With compassion, your choice becomes deliberate. You respond rather than react. You regulate rather than escalate. Every challenging situation becomes a training ground. Every triggered moment becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes insight. Your nervous system recalibrates. Patterns of self-attack weaken. Patterns of self-nurturing strengthen. Avoid now, amplify later. Judge now, suffer now. Compassion now, heal now. You are not weak for feeling. You are not flawed for making mistakes. You are not failing for needing time to integrate. You are growing. You are learning. You are becoming more aligned, more aware, more empowered. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty and integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. Compassion allows your light to shine steadily, without burnout or fear. You heal faster when you stop attacking yourself. You grow faster when you speak kindly to yourself. You expand faster when you meet your own humanity with presence. Compassion is strength. Compassion is regulation. Compassion is transformation. Now that you have learned to approach yourself with strength through kindness, the next step is using this same clarity to understand and influence the patterns of others. Chapter 11. The Discipline of Sitting with Discomfort. Discomfort is unavoidable. Life will present tension, challenge, uncertainty, and pain. Avoidance is optional, but temporary relief comes at a cost. The body and mind shrink when avoidance is habitual. Nervous system sensitivity increases. Emotional reactivity escalates. Discomfort is temporary. Avoidance is permanent. Sitting with discomfort is a discipline. It is a practice of courage. It is the foundation of resilience. Resilience is not absence of emotion. Resilience is presence with emotion. Resilience is the ability to remain steady while feeling fully. Start small. 5-minute discomfort sits. Purposeful, intentional, focused practice. Find a quiet space. Sit upright. Ground your feet. Close your eyes if safe. Bring attention to sensations. Notice tension in chest, shoulders, jaw, or stomach. Name it. Acknowledge it. Allow the feeling to exist. Do not analyze. Do not resist. Do not chase distractions. Breathe into the sensation. Lengthen the exhale. Relax muscles intentionally. Observe the natural rise and fall of intensity. The first moments are often hardest. The mind may protest. You can't handle this. You need to distract. Notice the resistance. Name it. Return to sensation. The nervous system is loyal, not logical. It signals threat to protect you. By remaining present, you teach it that feeling does not equal danger. Avoidance strengthens subconscious fear pathways. Discomfort practiced with presence expands emotional capacity. Tolerance grows. Strength increases. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to two underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. Sitting with hurt or fear in a controlled, intentional way rewires the brain. The amygdala recalibrates. The prefrontal cortex strengthens. Automatic reactivity diminishes. 5 minutes can become 10. 10 can become 20. The practice is cumulative. Consistency compounds growth. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. Discomfort will arise whether you sit with it or distract from it. The difference is mastery versus avoidance. Observe thoughts without attachment. Notice stories arising in the mind. Return to sensation. Return to breath. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? By choosing to sit with discomfort, you choose presence. You choose awareness. You choose resilience. Avoidance may feel easier, but it conditions the nervous system for instability. Discomfort strengthens the nervous system, expands tolerance, and enhances clarity. Your body may tighten. Your mind may churn. Your breath may catch. All of this is part of the practice. All of this is temporary. All of this teaches mastery. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. Your ability to sit in discomfort models courage and presence. Discomfort is temporary. Avoidance is permanent. Through this discipline, emotional endurance builds. You become capable of holding intensity without panic. You learn to navigate life's storms with steadiness. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose myself every day. Mastery is repetition. Strength is habitual. Resilience is cultivated. Once you can sit with discomfort fully, the mind and body integrate new levels of awareness and power. Your nervous system begins to trust your leadership. Old triggers no longer hijack your responses. You respond instead of react. This sets the stage for authentic emotional freedom. You are no longer running from feelings. You are no longer hiding from intensity. You are no longer diminished by fear. This prepares you for navigating relationships, business challenges, and unexpected life shifts with composure and insight. The next step is taking this capacity and applying it to real-time interpersonal dynamics, where energy, boundaries, and influence intersect. Chapter 12. Rewrite the emotional narrative. Emotions are experiences, not definitions. They come and go like weather. You do not have to fuse your identity with them. You are not your emotion. You are the observer. The words you use to describe your feelings shape your reality. I am anxious binds your identity to the sensation. It tells the nervous system that threat is permanent. It signals the brain that anxiety is you, inseparable from your essence. My body is experiencing anxiety, changes everything. You acknowledge the sensation. You honor its presence. You maintain your identity apart from the emotional state. Naming emotion in the third person creates space. It allows the nervous system to calm while the mind observes. It interrupts the feedback loop of reactivity. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. When anxiety, anger, or sadness arise, labeling them as experiences instead of identity prevents hijack. Try it in real time. Chest tightens. Jaw clenches. Mind races. Say silently, my body is experiencing stress. Breathe. Notice. Ground. Observe. The emotional surge diminishes. You are not carried away by intensity. You are present with it. You are not defined by it. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to two underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. By observing, you access insight. You can ask, what is this emotion telling me? What does my body need? How do I respond intentionally rather than reflexively? Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It continues to signal threats, but when you recognize and label sensation without self-judgment, it gradually relaxes. 95% is based off of your programming, 5% is your desire. The more you practice observing without identification, the more the 5% conscious choice grows in influence. Identity statements reinforce the separation. I am calm even though my body experiences tension. I am resilient even while fear appears. I am steady while waves of discomfort move through me. Avoid now, amplify later. Label now, fuse later. Separating self from emotion rewires the nervous system. The body learns that intensity is temporary. The mind learns that thought and feeling are informative, not defining. Every emotional spike becomes a laboratory. Every stressful moment becomes practice. Every challenge is an opportunity to witness without attachment. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? The answer emerges from observation, not reaction. You can act from clarity rather than chaos. You can respond with integrity rather than autopilot. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. Your presence as observer models calm and conscious choice. Rewrite the narrative internally. Turn judgment into witness. Turn panic into insight. Turn story into observation. My body is experiencing anxiety. My body is experiencing anger. My body is experiencing sadness. Observe, breathe, ground, respond intentionally. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose myself every day. Separation between self and sensation creates freedom. You are no longer captive to intensity. You are no longer defined by fleeting states. You are no longer limited by inherited scripts. Emotional states flow. Identity remains steady. Awareness expands. Conscious choice dominates. Once you can consistently observe without identifying, you unlock full autonomy over reactions, decisions, and the quality of your inner life. Now that identity is disentangled from state, the next step is practicing real-time alignment with your highest self under pressure. Chapter 13. Emotional Responsibility. Stop blaming, start leading. No one controls your emotional state. External events can trigger, provoke, or challenge you, but they do not dictate your reaction. Responsibility begins internally, not externally. Trigger is yours. Growth is yours. Many people look outward for blame. They say, "They made me angry." They say, "This situation stressed me out." They say, "If only they acted differently, I wouldn't feel this way." These statements are illusions of control. You are the one steering your nervous system. You are the one assigning meaning. You are the one deciding whether to react or respond. Take an example in relationships. Your partner raises their voice during a disagreement. The body reacts. Heart rate accelerates. Breath tightens. Chest constricts. The automatic story arises. They are disrespectful. They are attacking me. I am wronged. Pause. Breathe. Observe. The trigger exists. The intensity is real. Ownership begins now. Ask, how am I participating in this emotional experience? Where is my interpretation shaping my reaction? What do I choose in this moment? By reframing conflict through ownership, you stop feeding cycles of reactivity. You step out of victimhood. You step into leadership of your own mind and body. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to two underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. Notice the underlying sensation. You may be hurt because a boundary feels violated. You may be scared because connection feels threatened. Recognizing the internal origin dissolves the illusion that others made you feel anything. No one has that power. You always have choice. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. When you assume responsibility, you reclaim power. Reframing statements is critical. Instead of, "They made me angry," say, "I am feeling anger because I am interpreting this as harm." Instead of, "This situation overwhelmed me," say, "I am experiencing discomfort and I am choosing how to respond." Your nervous system recalibrates when you claim responsibility. Threat diminishes. Clarity emerges. Action becomes deliberate rather than reactive. Avoid now, amplify later. React now, spiral later. Own now, grow now. Emotional responsibility is not self-blame. It is conscious leadership. It is accountability paired with self-compassion. What do I get to do right now? What do I choose to do in this moment? You can respond with integrity. You can communicate clearly. You can act aligned with values rather than impulses. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. Taking ownership of emotion models maturity and presence. Practice daily. Notice triggers without judgment. Label sensations without self-condemnation. Choose responses deliberately. Your subconscious script notices alignment. Repeated practice rewires reactivity. Old patterns of blame weaken. New patterns of leadership strengthen. Trigger is yours. Growth is yours. You are the captain of your inner state. You are the steward of your energy. You are the authority in your emotional world. Once you consistently lead your emotions, the next step is integration. combining awareness, regulation, and conscious choice in every life domain. Chapter 14. Building a regulated identity. Regulation is not inherited. It is not a gift from circumstance. Regulation is trained. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. It follows patterns set by repetition. Old reactions dominate because they were practiced first. To create a regulated identity, you must practice consistently. Daily rituals form the foundation. They teach your body, mind, and nervous system how to respond instead of react. Breath work is essential. Slow, deliberate breaths calm the sympathetic nervous system. They activate parasympathetic pathways, signaling safety. When practiced daily, breath becomes a tool for self-leadership. Journaling strengthens awareness. Writing down triggers, sensations, and responses allows conscious review. Patterns become visible. Lessons become actionable. Journaling is a mirror to the subconscious script. Somatic check-ins connect mind and body. Chest tightness, jaw clenching, stomach knots, shallow breathing, all become data points. By naming and observing bodily sensations, you cultivate early detection and regulation. You learn to intervene before reaction escalates. Life is coming at you, and you're not pausing to filter and think about how you want to respond. Without daily practice, autopilot dominates. Old scripts run unchecked. Emotional waves sweep you away. Regulation is trained, not gifted. You teach your nervous system through repetition. You embed calm into habitual responses. You reinforce awareness as default. Begin with micro-practices. 3 deep breaths before checking email. 2 minutes scanning your body before a meeting. A short reflection on emotional triggers before sleep. Small moments compound into enduring change. Consistency rewires neural pathways. Repeated regulation diminishes exaggerated fight, flight, freeze responses. The amygdala adapts. The prefrontal cortex strengthens. Automatic patterns gradually give way to conscious choice. Avoid now, amplify later. React now, regret later. Pause now, regulate now. Your subconscious observes. Each successful pause reinforces safety. Each conscious choice builds identity. Each integrated emotional response strengthens resilience. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to 2 underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. By integrating awareness, you recognize secondary emotions quickly. You name the underlying hurt or fear. You breathe into it. You act deliberately instead of reflexively. Regulated identity is not perfection. It is presence. It is steadiness amid turbulence. It is freedom to respond from clarity rather than react from conditioning. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. A regulated identity allows your light to remain steady regardless of external chaos. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose myself every day. Breath. Journal. Check in. Pause. Observe. Respond. Repeat. This is training. This is mastery. This is the creation of a nervous system that supports your highest self rather than limits it. Once regulation is integrated into identity, every situation, relationships, work, stress, joy, becomes navigable with presence, clarity, and emotional freedom. The final step is living fully, consistently, and aligned with the mastery you have built. Chapter 15. Emotional Mastery, Living Unstoppable. Emotional mastery is freedom. It is not a concept, it is lived experience. It is the ability to feel fully, choose consciously, and act deliberately. Feel fully. Choose wisely. Act powerfully. Leadership begins internally. When you are fluent in your own emotions, you navigate life with clarity. Confidence emerges naturally when your responses are deliberate rather than reactive. Your nervous system is loyal, not logical. When you master emotional regulation, it works for you rather than against you. Triggers become signals. Intensity becomes information. Insight becomes automatic. Life will still present curveballs. Unexpected challenges arise. Stressors appear without invitation. You respond instead of react. The chemical surge lasts 90 seconds. Biology is first. Choice follows. You pause. You label. You breathe. You observe. You act intentionally. Automatic patterns no longer hijack behavior. Emotional fluency creates leadership. You guide your energy instead of being guided by external events. Your presence becomes a stabilizing force in relationships, teams, and situations. Confidence is rooted in self-trust. You trust your capacity to navigate difficulty. You trust your nervous system to respond safely. You trust your mind to interpret events accurately. Clarity arises from observation. You distinguish between stimulus and response. You separate perception from reaction. You recognize that past conditioning informs, but does not dictate, present choices. Anger is a secondary emotion. It usually comes down to two underlying emotions. I'm either hurt or scared. By mastering these underlying layers, you gain insight. You process fully before acting. You prevent escalation and maintain integrity. Avoid now, amplify later. React now, suffer now. Observe now, lead now. Emotional mastery is not a single moment. It is consistent practice. Daily breath work, journaling, somatic check-ins, conscious pausing, and reframing reinforce skill. Neural pathways strengthen. Subconscious scripts align with conscious desire. The 5% choice grows, gradually overriding the 95% automatic programming. You are no longer captive to mood swings. You are no longer dictated by other people's behavior. You are no longer imprisoned by past conditioning. Anytime you are shining your light as brightly as possible in your truth, in your honesty, in integrity, it is going to ignite something in someone's darkness. Your emotional mastery models calm, presence, and power. Real-time challenges become opportunities. Conflict becomes clarity. Discomfort becomes growth. Setback becomes training. Feel fully. Notice the sensation in body and mind. Honor it without judgment. Choose wisely. Pause before responding. Consider the root cause. Align action with values rather than impulse. Act powerfully. Respond from integrity. Lead from presence. Influence with calm authority. Life will still present uncertainty. Emotion will still appear. Challenge will still arrive. But you are unstoppable. Your nervous system is trained. Your mind is disciplined. Your body is steady. Daily practice compounds into mastery. Every trigger reinforces skill. Every pause strengthens control. Every conscious choice builds confidence. This is not perfection. This is presence. This is autonomy. This is unstoppable living. You are the observer. You are the leader. You are the master. The only way to get there is to go through and actively practice every single day and choose yourself every day. Feel fully. Choose wisely. Act powerfully. This is your law. This is your path. This is your life. You are unstoppable. You are free. You are emotionally mastered. Now, take this mastery into every corner of your life. Relationships, business, creativity, health, dreams. Everything you touch is informed by clarity, presence, and conscious choice. Your emotions no longer control you. Your nervous system no longer hijacks you. Your life now flows through your deliberate leadership. You are unstoppable. Feel fully. Choose wisely. Act powerfully. This is emotional mastery. This is freedom. This is you. In closing, now you understand something most people will never realize. Your emotions were never the problem. Your avoidance was. You have learned that your nervous system fires before your conscious mind speaks. You have learned that your subconscious stores old memories and tries to protect you with outdated programs. You have learned that anxiety, anger, sadness, they are signals, not verdicts. And now you have tools. You know how to pause. You know how to breathe. You know how to locate emotion in the body. You know how to ask why. You know how to reframe meaning. You know how to respond instead of react. The strongest people in the world are not the ones who feel nothing. They are the ones who feel everything and still choose power. From this moment forward, when emotion rises, you will not run. You will say, "This is data. This is temporary. I am safe. I choose my response." You will remember that your nervous system can be trained. Your subconscious can be rewired. Your conscious mind can lead. This is your challenge. For the next 30 days, do not avoid a single emotion. When it comes, pause. When it rises, breathe. When it hurts, stay. When it teaches, listen. Because the moment you stop fighting your emotions is the moment you become free. And once you are emotionally free, there is nothing in this world that can control you again. Now go feel, and go lead.